The days and hours are counting down. It's almost time to spot the damn ball. But I got some questions that I need answers for.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, guys. Appreciate y'all for joining in again today for the second time. Again, yes. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Monarch Moolah, Monarch Money, guys. We're talking about Monarch Money on this one because, look, take control of your finances today with Monarch Money. You use code Locked On College at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your very first year. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. I appreciate y'all for joining in. This is more of a freestyle kind of episode. I mean, I've got some bullet points here to keep me on track, I suppose, but I've just got some questions about the first game, things I want to see. What questions do I need to see answered in game one right away? What has to happen right damn meow, right? Well, I'll tell you. There are a few things, in my opinion, that need to go down in order for me to feel good about Ohio week 2, much less Robert Morrison week 1. So that's going to be a fun exercise we're going to jump into as I feel like it needs to be done. So let's jump straight away into these questions and answers that I have. Everybody wants to know, number one, who starts at quarterback, but more importantly, who plays well at quarterback. They're all, listen, Jalen Henderson, Nico Marchiol are both going to get their shots, but who's going to play well? Is somebody going to separate? This is the most important question of the entire season for the Mountaineers, and obviously so. Is Nico Marchiol going to be a physical runner between the tackles and play with 11 like Richrod wants to see, and make people pay for, being soft on drives, being lazy on drives, loafing on drives by getting 15, 20, 25, that kind of thing, and making the throws that he can make? Is Jalen Henderson going to do what he does so well with the mid-range and dot people up in the mid-range and then sprint away from people like he can in the running game? A little bit more explosive than a Nico Marchiol? Or is it possible that a Max Brown even comes into the fray at some point in time? These are all questions that I would love to know the answers to, y'all, that I don't have the answers to, unfortunately, but would love the answers to. So, there's a lot going on with this, right? So, my prediction is, I think anyways, I mean, you can never prove anything with 100% certainty, but I mean, I've got it narrowed down to two guys. I think either Nico or Jalen are going to have the best day on Saturday. And I'll go ahead and say that Nico ends up having the best day because I think he's going to go out there first. And I think that heavily, heavily favors somebody. Whoever goes out there first is the competition is going to be heavily weighted in their favor because first impression is the best impression. Now, if everybody is amped up, overdoing things, maybe their technique slips. Maybe they go 3 and out on the first drive or, the first 2 drives. And then a Jalen Henderson gets to come in and he gets to clean up after everybody's calmed down a bit. Then it weighs in Jalen Henderson's favor, right? I think both guys are going to be calm at quarterback. It's Robert Morris. As long as you execute, you should win handily. The plays are going to be there. Just make them when they're there. And it should be a fun day to play football. Like, it should be fun to go out there and play some football, like Richrod says. So that's question number one. Number two, can Jaheim White get off to a fast start and not tap his helmet to come out of the game? This is something that I said about Jalen, and Richrod said it in his press conference. One thing about, or not Jalen, but Jaheim. One thing Jaheim White did last year, a little too much in Neil Brown's offense, was, I need to come out. I'm tired, right? Well, in this offense, if you're on a roll, you got to kind of suck it up sometimes and keep on running the ball, or else you give the defense a chance to substitute. And this offense is predicated on getting the defense into a look or a package or a group, right? It's like it'd be like in basketball, be the equivalent of if you got your big on the floor, they're playing small ball, but let's pretend like they can't substitute, right? Let's say you can just keep pressing them and they could never substitute. You could keep your big on the floor, mismatch over and over and over and over again, right? This is similar in football where if you can push the pace like Rich Rodriguez does, and you have a running back that doesn't need to come out, right? That can be very beneficial. It's what you call a workhorse, right? Obviously, there are going to be times you substitute, especially if you get maybe you don't get something on first down or whatever. But if the ball's moving, you got to continue to move with it. And I'm hoping to see that next step from Jaheim White, that he's done that, because if not, then somebody else will. I do believe that. So, because he's got the talent. It's not a question of if he can do it, like physically. I know he can do it physically, but can he do it physically over and over again? Sometimes maybe 6, 7, 8 times on a drive. Honest to God, like that many times. Trey Stewart could last year. I think Jaheim White can this year. I don't doubt him, but it is a question that I have. So, the next question I have is, can the offensive line dominate a lesser opponent? If the offensive line struggles at any point tomorrow to get push, to win any short yardage downs, distance, anything like that, I'm going to be worried for the rest of the season. It's going to be something that sticks in my craw that makes me wonder about this team. We've already heard during camp that they struggled to get some push. They're not a big offensive line. They're an athletic offensive line. They do have some powerful guys on the O-line like Tyquise Crawford, I do believe is a powerful guy. But they don't have an offensive line full of them. And it's an athletic group that's going to out-angle people. It's going to use different techniques to beat people, right? So it's and listen, this is the kind of offensive line West Virginia used when Richrod was here the last time. We never really had a big, powerful offensive line that I could remember. Last time Richrod was here, they were all athletic groups that out-angled people, right? So it's like, if I've got to get to this spot over here and I run there before you and I wall you off, it's blocking you, right? So it's, a very layman's way of putting it, but yeah, so that's kind of what this offense is all about, is the way they're going to do things, I think. And hopefully it doesn't come down to a point to where they have to attempt to, hopefully anyways, overpower larger teams later in the season, because that would suck, if you ask me. But if they're able to do it, that's a whole different ball of wax. That gives you a lot of confidence. That gives you a lot of hope. If this is able to be a powerful offensive line and an athletic offensive line, you get the best of both worlds. You can run every package under the book, and life is good. Life is gravy. All right, next question, number 4. Several wideouts should catch a pass. Several should. But will they? Will the quarterbacks play well enough to get them the ball in space? Will enough wide receivers show up and show out, right? Because that's, like I said, I think we go 10 deep. They've got 8 on the depth chart. I think that's about right. And the thing is 5 or 6 of them are really good. So, you start to look at the wide receiver group like it's a strength of the team. I'm predicting that preseason, just so people know. Just remember that. Episode 801, I'm predicting this preseason, we're going to have an extremely strong offensive wide receiver room. Been saying it for weeks now. I just want to continue to harp on that. The addition of Jeffrey Weimer cannot be understated. Jeffrey Weimer is an elite route runner who, if you guys didn't hear the other day in Richrod's press conference, I forgot to bring this up. On average, his teammates are running 5 miles a day. Jeffrey Weimer has been running 9 miles a day since he got here. That's what his body can't, or his thing that they put around their belly has been telling them. He's been out doing people by 4 miles a day. That's how long he stays after and does different stuff. That's an insane. That's David Goggins. That's out of this world. 9 miles a day. Mind-blowing stuff. So, which leads me to my next question. Can Jeffrey Weimer actually take over a number one wide receiver spot? Guys, you guys know I've been harping on Weimer ever since he got cleared, right? You know, when he signed from Idaho State, initially we watched the tape, we fell in love with the tape, and it's no different. Still in love with the tape. He's an elite route runner. He's got 4.5 speed. Does he have things he can work on? Absolutely, he does. But I don't think that there's any question in the world at all that he will and can. He's 6'2", he's 210 pounds. He runs a 4.5 40, and he's elite. He's an elite route runner, one of the best we've had in a long time. So he, Man Singleton, Cam Vaughn, Jaden Bray, absolutely can be your top 4 receivers. I don't think there's a question about it. And I do think there's a chance in time where he takes over number one spot that Jaden Bray has if Jaden Bray's not producing. So it's going to be fun to see. I'm a big Jeff Weimer guy. As we get closer to the season and he's been cleared, he's going to get his shot, and I think he's going to take it. 9 miles to everybody else's 5. Like, come on, y'all. That's extra freaking work, like buku's extra work. That's next level extra work. That's like, oh my God, my mind is blown extra work. And that's what Richrod said. He said he's a grinder, right? And that's the kind of guys where they love, man. Guys like that are going to get an opportunity. And it says a lot about him, right? He got cleared within days. He's on the 2 deep. Nobody else got that but him. We go to break. On the other side of the break, y'all, we continue these questions and answers, and I have some doozies left. What about the pass rush? How good is it? Are there going to be any other depth chart surprises? Is Michael Coates really that good, or is he overrated? And can the defense under Zach Alley force turnovers and shut down Robert Morris? A lot of stuff to talk about. We'd still do it next. Stick around. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Monarch Money. We're talking about Monarch Money on this one because most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, investments, or what have you. And when you don't feel like you have the full picture in mind, you can end up leaving money on the table, right? So that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is great, perfect for you. Does the heavy lifting for you. It can link all your accounts for you in minutes. See clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching that spreadsheet you don't like. You can identify that you aren't serving or saving as much as you thought, obviously, with Monarch, and it helps you notice an efficient investment allocation and discover forgotten 401ks from past jobs. Don't let the financial opportunity slip through your cracks today. Use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com using code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE. It's segment 2. Let's crack open a do, guys, and talk a little bit more about the questions and answers that I have for this Mountaineers team. Before we do that, Locked On, we do have a question for you guys going on right now. Locked On wants to hear from you. We put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. And this is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't like, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. And everyone who completes this will get a survey. Everybody that completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. And you can also find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping out, guys. All right, we are back here at Locked On West Virginia. Appreciate you guys for joining in. A lot going on tonight, man. I appreciate y'all for joining. Okay, so a lot to talk about still. I have to promote something before we go any further, though. I've had a few of you message me already, and I appreciate that. Let me take a quick screenshot of something so that I can show you guys. Let's see. Uh, 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 uh. Let's see. Where'd it go? All right. Um. All right. There it is. Okay. Put it in here. All right. We're going to add the file now. All right. So if you haven't signed up for this, guys, this is what you need to do, right? I got these tickets for Robert Morris. They're in the level L, section 104, row 32, seats 25 and 26. This is your last show to sign up for this. The way you sign up for it is you have to be subscribed to Locked On West Virginia. You have to follow at Paul Mountaineer over on X. That's at sign Paul Mountaineer over on X. Make sure you're following those two things. And then the Discord as well. You have to be in the Discord. So hopefully you guys are able to do that. It's pretty easy to do. And then once you've done that, make sure you message me or you can email me if you need to at ROCKELPAUL0 at gmail.com. So that's my last name, then my first name, then 0 at gmail.com. Rockle Paul 0 at gmail.com. Or you can find me at Paul Mountaineer, and you can just rewind this back and listen to it again if you need to know where to go. Send me a message on either one of those and let me know that you've and screenshot if you can that you are subscribed to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, Locked On West Virginia. You're on the Discord and you're on X, and you'll be in the running for those tickets. Only like 3 or 4 people have signed up, so like seriously, there's a big chance for somebody to get those if you want them. Free tickets, and you could do whatever you want with them. You can resell them on SeatGeek. You could use them for the game, like pretty much whatever you want to do, right? So, all right. Now let's get back to the show. I appreciate you guys for letting me promote that really quick, and I want to thank my friend over on X. Who was it that helped me do that? It was, I think it was Concerned. Was it Concerned? Yeah, Concerned over on X. The name is Concerned at WVU Info. So appreciate them very much for helping out on that. All right, back to the questions and answers. Sorry for that little hiccup there. A couple other things I want to know about is how will the team handle the emotions of Richrod's return after 18 years? This should be wild. It's one of the biggest stories in the sport. Richrod returns home triumphantly after 18 years as away. He comes home the prodigal son to coach a game at West Virginia. Just say that out loud to yourself and ask yourself if you believe it. Rich Rodriguez will be back in Morgantown coaching a game on the sidelines, not against West Virginia, but for West Virginia. Shocking to me still. I still can't believe it's happening. And we've got Pat McAfee today talking about West Virginia's back. Stanford Steve was on there today. You've had Kirk Herbstreit agreeing. Everybody wants this thing to succeed. Everybody who is anybody wants this thing to succeed because of Pat McAfee's influence. He's turned us into a hated program to root against. And somebody still root against us. Some people still do. Into a program that people are rooting for because let's just keep it real. Pat McAfee does have some yes men around him. I mean, I'm just keeping it honest here. He's got some yes men around him that want to keep him happy, right? So they're going to pull for West Virginia too, whether they would have or not otherwise. I get it. It's your boy. And it's a big deal of Pat, like he's staked his whole name and claim on this. It's definitely a big deal, like for sure. So I get it 1000%. I'll just say this that, you know, I hope we're good in year one. I don't know how good we're going to be in year one and how what the expectation should be. The fact that we have 3 games against winnable, 2 winnable games, and then the backyard brawl helps. I think we can just start to click possibly by game 3. But even if not, I'm okay, man. I'm okay with it. I think I'm just happy that Richrod's back on the sidelines. I really am. I mean, this is like a dream come true for me. My dad, my dad in heaven is dancing right now. I got this tattoo, and I know you guys don't want to see my ugly skin, but I got this tattoo in jail. Right, I'm not proud of that, but this is RCR, my dad's initials. It says final score 59-13. My dad was born in 1959 and he died in 2013. So, you know, obviously he was alive for the Rich Rod years. And that was where I grew as a West Virginia fan. So I know he's in heaven. Really happy about all this, man. I got to move on from that or I'll get emotional. All right. So another question is, will the 3 who are eligible to play well? Obviously, we already touched on Jeffrey Weimer. Um, but what about Justin Harrington? What about Ty Edwards? Are they going to play? I think they're going to play. I mean, they're on the depth chart. Ty Edwards wasn't, but I think he's going to play. Even if it's just the 2, will Justin Harrington and Jeffrey Weimer and hopefully Ty Edwards play well? I think they all will if they get in the game. Absolutely. I'm excited to see it. I really am. I think it's going to be a really fun thing to see. I'm rooting for it. So we're going to go to one more break really quick, guys. We'll put a bow on this one on the other side of the break. Stick around. This is Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by FanDuel, y'all. And we're talking about FanDuel because the NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets. That's $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel. It fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, even jumping in live on the action as it unfolds, if that's what you want to do. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. So are you ready to play? Because if you want to, download the FanDuel app today by using FanDuel.com, visiting FanDuel.com, and getting started. That's FanDuel.com, the place for your first $5 bet. All right, we are back here on Locked On West Virginia in segment 3, and I appreciate you guys for joining in. As always, you guys are awesome. This episode is also going to be brought to you by Supply House. When it comes to Supply House, I have to be honest, that's where the site where the trades are. When opening the whistle begins, a new repair can get you going and get your crew going for it as well with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times should keep you from punting projects away, while their industry-leading customer service is always going to have your blind side covered. Need parts for a fast project? Supply House can have next-day delivery. That's a big game changer. Join the free Trade Master program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and dedicated support lines. Visit supplyhouse.com today to sign up for free and use promo code SCHOLLEGE. That's SHCOLLEGE5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com, where there's real people and real service. All right, we are back, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Back to these questions. A couple more. We'll go a little rapid fire on these. I think this is an interesting one. Pass rush. How good is it? Let's get over to back over to. I think I've already got it pulled up. Let's see. No, let me get it here. Yeah. So the pass rush, how good is it? Right? Obviously, we know it starts with Jamory Robinson, but he's not here for this game. You got Eddie Kelly Jr. Let me go by position here, make it a little easier. Um, so obviously you've got Braden Siders here. He's going to be a big piece for this. What's he going to do? He's looked good at Wyoming. If you go watch the tape at Wyoming, he looks pretty good. The one I'm really looking for here is sophomore Curtis Jones Jr. What a shocker it was to see him at number 2 on the depth chart behind Braden Siders, an absolute monster, and grown 3 inches since his freshman year. That's a big jump. That's like Anthony Davis growing 9 inches or whatever it was after he committed to Kentucky or something crazy. If you ever never looked into that story, go look into it. I think Anthony Davis grew 9 or 10 inches in 1 year. Marshawn Oxley, I still believe in. I don't know what's going on there. He wasn't on the depth chart. It must be an injury thing, is my best guess. And I also had an answer today given to me about Xavier Bosley, who is also dealing with a knee injury. I was able to confirm that through sources. So Xavier Bosley's not on there, not because of play, but because of injury. God, that hurt. I accidentally scraped my knuckle on a damn nail I've got right here. Apologies. I forgot I got that nail sticking out right there, holding in my my mat that my keyboard sits on top of, and I just scraped my knuckle right off of it. Gosh, that hurt like crap. All right. So obviously, I still believe in Oxley, though we're talking about pass rush here. Keenan Eck wasn't on there either. That was odd. I expected him to be on there. So Jeff, yeah, I'll get you the Discord link. I was hoping somebody would be in here, but they're not. So let me see if I can get it before we leave here really quick. But yeah, I believe our pass rush is still going to be really good. Obviously, Devin Grant on the defensive end side is somebody you really need to watch and pay attention to. I am just a big fan of Devin Grant, as most of you guys know if you've been watching the show. I think he's going to be a really good player for us. He's one of those dudes that can wreck a game, and hopefully, he's one of those bounce back guys. Obviously, he was an incarnate word. We were happy to see it, no doubt. But I mean, you do wonder, can he come up to this level and do what he was doing at incarnate word? I think there's, a little bit of speculation to that. His tape is really good. I think that's one thing you look at when you look at Devin Grant. Like, his tape reads well, man. It really does. All right, here we go. Copying the Discord link now for you guys. All right, the Discord link is in the YouTube chat now. Make sure you go there if you want to be on in the giveaway for the tickets to the game, along with following on X and on YouTube here at Locked On West Virginia, at Paul Mountaineer on X, Locked On West Virginia, and the Discord. Make sure you jump in there and be a part of our Discord. All right. So last couple questions here, as before we jump off here, is let's see, where is it? Is Michael Coach Jr. really that good? He's one of the only guys that nobody's wavered on, right? He was projected from day one to be the starter at corner, and that never changed. He was basically all through camp. We heard great things about him all the way till the depth chart was released. He's the starting corner. Is he going to be as good as advertised? We need him to be. We need him to be a Beanie Bishop, or even better if we can be, for things to happen like we want him to this year. Most people think he can be that. So that's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on, to see how good he really is. Will he be tested this week? I doubt it. But you never know. I mean, you never know. They might have a guy on that side on their team that can play. We just have to keep an eye on it. Man. The 3 turnover rule that Zach Alley has. Can this defense continuously do that? If we're able to do the 3 turnovers, this will be an elite defense. That's what we need to see more than anything else. So I'm excited about it for sure. Hopefully they can match that 3 turnovers. We need, because we haven't seen 3 turnovers a game in over 6 years, right? Like it just, whether they emphasized it or not, I'm not sure. It just didn't happen under Neil Brown. I can't explain it. I can't obtain it. I don't know why. But man, what a bad run we had under Neil Brown in so many areas that are key to winning. The only one we were really good in was time of possession. We had that one locked up. The slowest, most vanilla team in the country, which is fine if you're winning. I'm okay with it. Like, yeah, get a 10-point lead and milk the thing. Fine, whatever. That's not going to be this team, though. I mean, obviously, Richrod says if we get a lead, we're going to slow it down. But other than that, we're going fast, baby. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, guys, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Make sure you like, subscribe, the whole nine. If you're not subscribed, you should be, or you're 31 minutes in. Why ain't you? And I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're getting close, man. Tomorrow's Thursday. That means we got 2 days left before stuff gets really crazy around here. We got college football tomorrow. We got Cincinnati beating Nebraska, right? Is it Nebraska? I think. We got Ohio University playing Rutgers at some point. Like, we got a lot going on, man. TD, yeah. You're asking questions on Andre Devine. I got a question in the chat before we get off here. Have I seen Andre Devine's son on film? And my thoughts on him? My thoughts on him are, I hate doing stuff like this, man, but I'm just going to be honest. I mean, as a walk-on, he's fine. He's not as good as his dad was, unfortunately. And I mean, not many people would be. Maybe he can grow into that. But as of right now, I don't think he's Power 5 caliber player. I think we added him out of some, we had some issues going on. I think we added him as a result. He's not horrible. Like, he can play. He's got some explosiveness, he doesn't have a ton of long speed. He can do a couple things, but I mean, he's got his dad's size, but he doesn't have his elite speed and explosiveness. Like, he's got some of that, but not all of it. And he needs all of it to be that size. Now, he can work his way into a Power 4 player. I do believe that. He has enough skills to be so. But just my personal opinion, I don't think he's quite there, man. That's just me, though. And maybe other people, agree or disagree, but that's me on him. I hate talking about a kid this age. It's so young, but you have to be honest. And here's what I always say on this kind of stuff. It don't hurt me a bit if I'm wrong. I'm rooting for him to do good, right? Like, I want to be wrong. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like with some of these guys that they're really great when they're not. So it's just like, some other guys that we talked about, so I am proud of a couple of the calls that I've made on the depth chart. I still think there's some more that will come and it's really not about being right. I know I've done some videos on, like, I was right. Obviously that's me trying to get you to click on the video, but so we can talk about it. Darren is a big one. I'm really proud of that one. I was on him from the get-go, watching his Akron film. I also like his teammate. I do think, Devontae Golden Nelson is also a good player. It's just, unfortunately, he's in a room with Jordy Scruggs and apparently Nick Taylor and Jason Chambers as well. So, Chambers, I should have knew Chambers was going to be good. Senior coming out of App State. It shouldn't be a shock that he got that job, right? So no reason to be super shocked over it. But Jordan, from what I understand, Jordan is going to definitely be he's definitely going to be, rotating in and out with him. So this is interesting. Somebody, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm blind here. Has anybody checked the hold on a second here. Somebody let me know. How long have these names been on here? BJ Henderson III and Matthias Squire. I look at this depth chart every single day of my life. I look at this roster every single day of my life. Okay, I remember this from Franklin Pierce. Now that's ringing a bell. Okay, now it rings a bell. And then Matthias Squire, the Matha Catholic freshman. Interesting. I guess we have some players that I'm not too familiar with on there. Wow. Okay. All right, guys, we got to jump off here. Can't go much longer, but thank you for joining in, like we said, and we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be celebrating. Football is back. Maybe we'll pick some games tomorrow. I'm in contact with the Ohio University play-by-play guy. Should be able to get him on here next week to talk about that game. That's going to be a fun game to cover. Can't wait to cover that Ohio U game because it's actually going to be real barometer, real competition for this team. All right, y'all. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.